With oil wealth, he recently hosted his own Olympic Games.
On your mark. Get set.
At which he won 14 gold medals.
Taste. Good taste. Bad taste. What is it? What defines something as good taste? And what makes it bad? Some say that your taste is defined by your personal experiences. That if you're exposed to something as a child, you're more likely to like it? Some say that societal pressures and culture have an impact. Is taste subjective, or is it something you can control? Is our attitude towards screen materials shaped by both our own experiences and personal values, as well as the prevailing cultural perspective on the content we consume? And is it fair to categorize perception of good and bad taste into these simplified notions?
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
What do you mean you've seen this? It's brand new.
Yeah, well, I saw it on a rerun.
What's a rerun?
You'll find out.
An individual's personal experiences can strongly influence their taste in screen material, as they're often shaped by significant childhood memories, nostalgia, or life events. Film preferences are greatly held with subjectivity, as audiences who experience film hold different personal introspections and provoke different personal anecdotes that they relate to when they are watching. For example, I have fond memories of watching the Star Wars movies with my family when I was younger, which has instilled an everlasting appreciation for the science fiction genre and the Star Wars franchise as a whole. Whereas a child who has grown up watching the original Disney films, such as The Little Mermaid or Frozen, is likely to be less receptive to the science fiction genre. These early connections to screen material are likely to mould our personal preferences and personal taste in what we consume. Callias in 2012 collates research to identify links between various watching motives and film or genre preferences. It was concluded that there are numerous variables that account for taste in movies, with upbringing and exposure in early years being included in this. Similar to these early connections, significant life events such as medical diagnoses, loss of loved ones, or trauma can heavily impact what is considered to be good or bad taste. For example, someone who has suffered trauma as a result of gun violence is more likely to consider gun violence in cinema as distasteful, whereas those who haven't experienced this would disagree. This is supported in an article that discusses whetting the appetite due to experiences. It goes on to highlight how different levels of exposure can impact genre preferences. Also, people having differing general interpretations of video material being either exciting or grossly violent can have impact on taste. An individual's personal values, just like experiences, are likely to hold significant influence in the shaping of their attitude towards screen material. Values is a term defined as levels of altruism, competition, cooperation, aggression, sadomasochism, and individualism experienced by an individual. A person's values can consist of a wide range of ethical, moral, and personal beliefs. These values act as a filter for the viewer, impacting how they perceive screen material. For instance, in a thought-provoking film such as The Dark Knight, which explores complex moral dilemmas, the third act of the film has a scene where two ferries are fitted with explosives, one carrying civilians and the other carrying prisoners. Each ferry has a detonator that triggers the other boat's explosives, and the Joker gives all of the passengers an ultimatum: use the detonator or rely on the values and kindness of others. This moral dilemma forces the passengers to confront their own values, ethics, and beliefs under extreme pressure. The Joker intends to push people to their limits, to reveal what he sees as an inherent darkness and selfishness within human nature. Ultimately, the passengers on both ferries choose not to detonate the explosives, demonstrating the inherent goodness and selflessness of humanity, despite the Joker's cynical view of human nature. This scene asks viewers to put themselves in the shoes of the characters and consider what they would do in a similar situation. It challenges viewers to reflect on their own decision-making processes and how their personal beliefs about the value of human life would influence their choices.
God damn it! We lost! We fucking super lost, man! Tell them, McCluskey. Tell them what time it is.
I don't believe you people.
Huh? What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Huh?
I think what
Oh,
Tug
man.
means is you
No,
people,
look at
you
his eyes,
actors,
man.
you people.
Look at them beady white devil eyes.
I gotta get back to
Chill. All right? Just chill it.
The concept of good and bad taste in screen is heavily influenced and shaped by cultural perspectives. Cultural norms, trends, and societal values play a pivotal role in determining what is deemed tasteful or appropriate within different contexts. This was seen relevant in the previous studies on violence in film and the reasons for varying preferences in audiences. What may be seen as an artistic and thought-provoking portrayal in one culture might be perceived as offensive or tasteless in another. A somewhat recent example of what many consider to be bad taste is Tropic Thunder, released in 2008. This movie had an obviously satirical take on the film industry, and its use of racial humour has caused extensive debates across many years. Recently, the film has been heavily criticised for its portrayal of blackface and racially insensitive humour. As cultural norms see heightened sensitivity towards the issues of representation in Hollywood. However, when analysed through a different cultural lens, this film can be perceived as less offensive and more of a critical commentary on Hollywood itself, reflecting on what is considered as tasteful or appropriate to a tone-deaf Hollywood. Ultimately, the film serves as a typical example of how a single movie can spark complex discussions about good and bad taste, dependent on the cultural setting, highlighting the significance of context and perspective in criticism.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
In conclusion, the concept of good and bad taste in screen material is a complex combination of personal experiences, values, and cultural perspectives. It's shaped by our memories, childhood connections, and significant life events, as well as our own individual values and beliefs. What one person may consider good taste, another might see as bad taste, and its subjectivity is deeply influenced by societal norms and cultural context. It can be seen that taste is a subjective concept which is influenced by personal experiences, societal pressures, and cultural norms. Understanding good or bad taste in screen material is not about definitive judgments, but a combination of factors that vary from person to person and culture to culture. It's a reminder that there is no one-size-fits-all definition of good or bad taste, and that our own personal experiences, values, and cultural context will always play a role in shaping our attitudes towards what we consume on the screen. And on that note, thanks for watching.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.